hope it will be shorter than the Doha monologue. But I want to say a couple of things. I don't understand, for example, why some of you are so mean. Why? Why? I don't get it. We work hard, I work hard, the whole FIFA team works hard. We don't steal, we don't profit. Maybe I don't speak so much to the media, but that's how I am. And anyway, it's much better you write about football and not football administrators. That's my philosophy, at least. Maybe we don't leak any more secret information or what have you to the media. I don't know. And that's why we need to be criticized. But we feel that's the right way to do. We intervene, we speak, I speak when there is something to say, when we do something, when we propose something. But for the rest, we have to let football to their protagonists. The FIFA president is not a protagonist of football, it's the players, it's the coaches, it's those who have fans all over the world. And we are part of those who have to protect the fans. And the other thing I don't understand, and I'm asking you why, whenever some of you write about FIFA or speak about FIFA, you say that it's only about money, that FIFA is rich, that competition is just a money-making exercise. And I can tell you that FIFA is about football. This money doesn't go to 20 English clubs or 20 German clubs or 20 Swiss clubs. This money goes to 211 countries all over the world. From Ethiopia to Nepal to Bolivia. Premier League clubs play 380 matches, right? A year. 380. Each single club plays 38 in the Premier League, plus Carabao Cup, plus FA Cup, plus replays, 50 games a year. 50 games every year. When we add new club World Cup, this corresponds to 50 games, 60 games. It's 10 games, 15 games a year. It's one game per year for each club. One game per year. The World Cup that we have, on average, each club participates, because those that don't participate, they don't play. So Egypt, with Mohamed Salah, didn't participate, they didn't play. The other countries, they play 4 games on average in the World Cup. Winners, now 8. 4 games on average means 1 game per year. Which defines global football. Don't get why when the Italian league decides that two Super Cups play 4 games in Saudi Arabia, fantastic, congratulations, Spain do the same, great revenues for Italian football. These are more games for the same teams who play already many games, whereas we want to bring games to teams who do not play sufficient games. And that's why I don't understand why there is always this stealing from the rich to give to the poor. We are commercializing, and we give to the rich as well, but we give to the poor also to make them grow a little bit. In addition to that come the personal tax, because again, give one example in the press conference in Doha, before the start of the World Cup. I said at some stage but some of you, I said say that I know discrimination because I'm red and fat hairs and freckles, which is something I said en passant, and go and listen again to this interview to see what I said. You don't need to like me. You don't need to love me. Criticize me. Because for me, some of you always give space to people who, just for the sake of getting free publicity, criticize FIFA or the FIFA president. Some of these people were convicted by many things. I think they've been working hard to show that FIFA is on track. Again, I don't understand this animosity, because this goes then as well with this critics which comes up every now and then of some sort of corruption And when we speak about corruption, that's always a very serious allegation, right? And when the Department of Justice of the United States of America decides to give back to the new FIFA over 200 million US dollars, I guess they probably check what they do before they do it. Because normally Swiss organizations or others in Europe, they tend to pay, and not millions, but billions of dollars to the Department of Justice. So why is this not highlighted? That's my feeling. Maybe I'm wrong, but I have this feeling, and that's why I need to say it. I spent my life working hard to get where I am, with all my team. We're sitting here, which I'm proud of. Today, I was re-elected after having received more than 200 letters of endorsement. I was re-elected with a standing ovation. So an overwhelming majority has the feeling that I'm doing a pretty good job, including in Europe. But yet when I read articles, well, I don't read them, but I'm told. You shouldn't tell me what they write, you see. When I read articles, the best I can read is, well, he has some support by some poor countries in some poor continents, with the names of some countries. So besides being racist, these kind of remarks, they are factually wrong. And I think a journalist has a duty to be impartial and correct. Because the readers believe what they read. And again, most of you, I'm sure, are doing that. So 200 more countries believe that we have done a good job in the last 4 years and before. And the same 200 plus countries believe that we will do a good job as well in the next 4 years based on the plans that were presented and that were approved unanimously at the FIFA Council after discussing it with all the stakeholders. And again, today or this year, we will have the Women's World Cup. We were discussing this recently, internally, and this Women's World Cup should be a celebration of women's football. Has to be. And yet it's more some of the negativity which comes always out. So why is that? Why can we not try a little bit to focus on some of the positive messages? We are here in Rwanda, we are here in Africa, in a place which is very inspirational. And we want to focus on what is positive, and I think with what I said at the end about the increased prize money, about the objective of going to equal pay, and unfortunately I have the bad habit, as most of you know, to do what I say, so we will have to get there, but we'll have to discuss it before with everyone. This should deserve, I believe, some positive feedback, because these are concrete facts. I think I'm going to stop here and I'll let you ask questions. It was not so long. Thank you for having listened to me.
Thank you very much, Gianni. Thank you very much for just moving a few chairs. Okay, if we could have some hands raised, please, to take some of your questions. Again, the translation's provided on channels 1 to 4. One of our colleagues will bring the microphones across. If we go, please, to front row near the right, please. Front row near the right. Lady near the right, yes. Thank you.
Congratulations, Mr. President. My name is Annette Mugabo. I'm a sports journalist at Radio TV10 here in Rwanda. My question, you say that you love African football. What are your hopes for African football in next 5 years to 10 years? Thank you so very much.
Thank you for the question. Yes, I love African football. I love football generally, but I really feel that in Africa there is an incredible talent. And Arsene Wenger's talent development scheme that he presented today will focus on those countries who don't have the possibilities, like the bigger countries, maybe in Europe or North or South America, to give more talents more chances. So by giving more talents more chances, and by increasing the participation of African teams, we almost double, or we basically double the participation of African teams for men's and women's World Cups in 26 and 23 for the women. We believe, and I believe, that we will soon have some very good results at the top level. The youth competitions being played every year will also help in this direction, because what happens today, for example, in Africa, is that the teams, whereas in Europe, the European Championship is played every year at youth level, under 17. In Africa, because the World Cup is only every 2 years, the associations, they tend to train the players only shortly before they have the qualification for the World Cup. And if they are out, they don't train anymore until 2 years later, and you lose a whole generation. So this, with the forward program investment in Africa of around $500 million in the next 4 years, will definitely have an impact for African football. And we had already Morocco in the semi-final of the last World Cup. So let's see when Africa will be world champion.
Thank you for your question. We'll go to this side now, and front row again. Front left, please.
José Félix Díaz de Marca, quiero preguntar en castellano, ya que se puede. ¿Te preocupa un poco el clima de tensión que hay alrededor del fútbol, un poco más de clubes que de selecciones, pero te preocupa un poco y ciertas noticias de ciertos clubes poniendo un poco en duda su sistema, por así decirlo?
Sí, bueno, como presidente de la FIFA, por supuesto que observamos todo lo que pasa en el mundo de selecciones, en el mundo de clubes, y cuando hay situaciones negativas, vamos a decir, nos preocupa, porque los clubes, sobre todo los grandes clubes, hacen mucho por el fútbol no solamente en la ciudad o en el país, sino en el mundo entero, y todos queríamos ver que todo se pase siempre bien. Luego somos todos humanos y hacemos todos errores y se van a analizar, se tendrán que analizar en España, por ejemplo, y por supuesto lo que se pasó, para ver cómo se puede solucionar. Hemos tenido crisis en varios países, en Italia también en este momento, con grandes clubes involucrados. Esto no es bien por el fútbol, y creo que tenemos que operar todos dando ¿cómo puedo decir? un impulso positivo, si es posible, porque nos sirve hacer crecer la animosidad. Creo es más importante comprender, uno, y dos, encontrar soluciones.
Gracias. Over here, third row, please.
Thank you. My question is, what should we, African football and Rwanda in particular, expect as you begin your new term as FIFA president? And what do you think about having more representatives in the World Cup for Africa? Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. We have already taken this decision, and we moved from 5 to 9.5 representatives from Africa in the World Cup as of 2026. For the women's game as well, we increased the participation. And for youth competitions, which is also very important, we are going to double the number of teams, including number of African teams, obviously, for the boys, and we are going to increase the number of women's teams as well. So more inclusivity, more participation. I think that's what the world needs.
Thank you. Second row, Tarek, on the right.
Hi, Jenny. Just on the Women's World Cup, actually. You announced that the prize money today, just from a technical point, is that 110 million in prize money,
Yeah.
40 million in preparation? Is that the 150? And also, do you anticipate all of that money going to the players that are playing in the tournament, or would you like to see that money go into the game? And on the same topic, on the Women's World Cup, there's been a lot of controversy. The Australians and the New Zealanders have commented publicly about this mooted Saudi Arabian tourism sponsorship. They don't want it. You might say nothing is signed, etc., but something is up. Even in the last few days, they seem to be quite upset. Do you want to clarify what's happened with that Saudi Arabian sponsorship? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So the prize money itself will be 110, and then there is an amount for the preparation money, the cost and so on, and there is amount for the club program, club protection, club benefit program, exactly. So 110, and then I don't remember, 30 and 10 or something like this, 31 and 11. It's 152, the precise number, but you will get it from our team. What we want to do as well, but we have not decided that, we have just been discussing it internally, is to allocate a part of it, one part of it to the players, and one part of it to the federation for investment in youth football, boys and girls, right? So all this will be elaborated in the next few weeks, will be discussed internally, and will be then part of a regulation. But we feel that when you speak about maybe prize money, we have to change. Since you are a great English speaker, maybe you can give us a better name, because prize money could be a bit misleading, right? Because a part of that has to go to the players. That could be the prize money, so to say, for the participant players. But another part as well is obviously there to develop football in that country as well. So we need to divide that. On the visit Saudi question, well, thanks for the question. I can clarify that of course there were discussions with Visit Saudi and so on. At the end, this discussion didn't lead into a contract. So there was, how do you say, a storm in a water glass. Do you say that in English? In German you say storm in a teacup. Aha. Yeah. In German you say in a water glass. You see in English you say in a teacup. Because you're more sophisticated in England. But having said that, let me say one more thing. FIFA is an organization of 211 countries. I said it in my speech, I think as well. For us, they are all the same. They are all the same. There wouldn't be anything bad, and there is anything bad, in making sponsorships from Saudi Arabia, from China, from the United States of America, from Brazil, or from India, as far as we are concerned. In addition to that, FIFA is a global organization. Now, I understand when it comes, for example, to Australia, that Australia has trade with Saudi Arabia of, I don't know, $1.5 billion a year between Australia and Saudi Arabia. This doesn't seem to be a problem or an issue. between Australian companies and Saudi companies, between a global organization like FIFA and the Saudi organization like Visit Saudi, this would have been an issue. There is something I don't understand. There is a double standard here which I really don't understand. But there is no issue. There is no issue. There is no contract. There are discussions, and of course we want to see how we can involve Saudi sponsors in women's football generally, how we can involve Saudi sponsors in men's football, how we can involve Qatari sponsors in women's football and men's football, and all other sponsors from all over the world.
Thanks, Tarek. Just behind Tarek, on the right still. Thank you.
Boa tarde, Martim Fernandes da Globo Brasil. Presidente, semana tras semana Vinicius Junior es insultado de manera racista en España. No es el único, pero es un caso de alto perfil. Y tenemos la sensación de que nada pasa con los que lo insultan, con los que lo agriden. Tenemos la sensación de que está abandonado, está solo en esta guerra. ¿Qué FIFA puede hacer más en este asunto específico del racismo, si no es la hora de puniciones deportivas, pérdida de puntos, eliminación de campeonatos, en fin? ¿Qué piensas de ese asunto y qué FIFA puede hacer?
Bueno, muchas gracias por la pregunta. En primer lugar, por supuesto, exprimir toda la solidaridad por Vinicius y todos los jugadores que son abusados de manera racista. Es claro también que con el sistema de subsidiariedad del fútbol que tenemos, cada organizador de competiciones es responsable por los incidentes que se pasan en sus competiciones. Dicho esto, como FIFA ponemos a disposición, y lo hemos hecho durante el Mundial, a los jugadores, y los que quieren lo pueden pedir y podemos seguir, un monitoreo de los medios sociales para cortar todos los mensajes de insultos y mensajes negativos. Esto funcionó muy bien al Mundial y es un paso. Por lo que pasa en el campo, hemos propuesto, hemos decidido y lo implementamos en las competiciones de la FIFA, que los árbitros tienen no solo la posibilidad, sino la obligación de parar los partidos si hay insultos racistas. Es algo de muy grave. El three-step process, ¿no? El proceso de 3 pasos. Paras y se dice que ahora ya está. En segundo lugar, paras y los jugadores salen del campo y el speaker tiene que decir que si sigue el partido se interrumpe, se vuelve a jugar y si siguen, bueno, el partido se abandona y son 3 puntos para el otro equipo. Esas son las reglas que tendrían que ser implementadas en cada país. A veces es más fácil la teoría que la práctica, lo entendemos, y por eso creo que lo que tenemos que hacer todos más es educación. Educación y educación. Gracias.
Thank you. Go back to the front row. Just here. Thank you.
Hello, Johnny. My name is Eric from Nairobi, Kenya. A couple of days ago, or the day before yesterday, you announced that the World Cup will be expanded, obviously, to 48 teams. But we've seen reports and articles around the world that we may have boring games featuring nations like North Macedonia, Mali in Africa, Jamaica, Iraq. What do you make of those comments and those reports?
Not much. I believe that we'll have a great World Cup. I hope that Italy qualifies for once again in a World Cup, which is not such a bad team, and didn't qualify with 32, so maybe with 48 Italy will qualify. Otherwise we move to 64 or 128 until Italy goes in. But you know, the quality of the players today is really growing at many levels. Many top players, Mohamed Salah with Egypt, didn't make it to the World Cup. The Italian national team didn't make it. Sweden with Ibrahimovic, didn't make it. Turkey has always a good team, they didn't make it. So there are good teams, Chile, South American good team, Colombia, top players everywhere in the biggest leagues, didn't make it. So we have, I think, Algeria with Mahrez, didn't make it. So there are some very good teams, I think, all over the world which have the quality to play in a World Cup and to perform very well. We've seen it at this particular World Cup as well, where Japan has been beating Germany and so on and so forth. So we see some surprise results, which are not so surprising because the quality of the players is very high. So I'm sure that more teams means more celebration and more quality as well.
Okay, second row, Matt, blue shirt.
Thanks. Matt Slater from The Athletic. I've got an answer and a question. You asked a question. The criticism, I can't speak for everyone here, but the criticism I gave for your speech in Doha was not about your gag on red hair. It was about the implicit and explicit criticism you made of dozens of people in that room of the reporting that they had done over a decade on Qatar's labour rights rules. You said we were racist. Now, ironically, that's the word that the UN Special Rapporteur used or uses about the labour rights situation in Qatar. So that is what upset me and a great many people that I spoke to that day. They were deeply offended that you called us racists. So that's my answer. Now, I'd just like to ask a question then. I'd love to hear your response. Would you clarify, just so I don't misunderstand you again, what you meant by your comparison to your electoral campaign in 2016 and Rwanda's recovery from genocide? You appeared to make a direct comparison between your try again spirit and Rwanda's recovery from that appalling incident.
Well, on the first thing, I think I called racists those who were qualifying fans who had a different skin color and were cheering for European teams as not real fans. That's when I used the word racist. And I stick to that. Because a fan of England, a fan of Germany, a fan of any team can be from anywhere in the world. On your question, I find it really incredible that you can interpret what I say as making an association with one of the most terrible tragedies that happened in humanity in this country with anything that happened in my life. Anything. I don't know, have you been to the memorial? Go to the memorial. Go to the memorial. Go to the memorial. It's very inspiring. It's inspiring for everyone. I brought my children to the memorial. I understand it's your job. I understand it's your job, and I respect your job so much. Believe me, I respect it so much. But I would never make a comparison with a tragedy, between a tragedy and between my life. What I want to say is that this country is so inspiring. Sorry, I speak. It is so inspiring for so many people on what has been done that when we come with our little problems, sometimes, we should just, be a bit more humble about things. That's all that I said. That's all that I said. Yeah, you can shake head. Doesn't change.
Okay, thanks, Matt. Question over on the right, lady in the black and white. Just beyond the camera. Yeah, just beyond the camera. Yes.
Congratulations, Mr. President. I'm called Grace Lynn Zimbabazi from Uganda, and I work for NBS Sport. You talked about the focus for the 4 years is women football, and you talked about equality and equal pay, but there is actually representation of women, especially when it comes to the technical aspect, administration, and as well as, let's say on your committee, how willing are you to see that changes?
Yes, thank you very much for the question. I think this is another area where this country can give lessons to the world and to FIFA as well, where you have more women in the parliament, more women ministers, if I understand well as well. And of course we have much more to do in that area. We tried also there to improve a little bit. We have 6 women in the FIFA Council. We have a woman Secretary General of FIFA. We have a couple of women in the Management Board of FIFA. But football is still very much of a man's sport, and I think, and I hope, and I believe that boosting and developing women's football will help to go in that direction.
Excellent. That is it. Time is up, everyone. The FIFA Media Relations team on site here to answer any follow-up questions, particularly in relation to the specific figures. Otherwise, please drop us an email, media@fifa.org. Thank you for your time, everyone. Thank you.